I want to share a story with you of someone who was tested, an average individual, perhaps even less than average, who, because of the way she responded to her test, the way she reacted to her test, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala dignified her. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exalted her ranks to the extent that she was worthy enough to be mentioned to our beloved Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. This is the story of the hairstylist of Faraón. As the Prophet ﷺ was ascending to the heaven, he came upon a beautiful smell. And he inquired to Jibreel ﷺ what this smell was. So Jibreel ﷺ, he replied to Muhammad and he said, "This is the smell of the hairstylist of Faraón and her children." So Muhammad ﷺ, he didn't know this story. So he asked Jibreel ﷺ, "Tell me, Ya Jibreel, the story of the hairstylist of Faraón and her children." So Jibreel ﷺ, he began the story. He said, one day, the hairstylist of Faraón was combing the hair of the daughter of Faraón. And as she was combing the hair, the comb fell to the ground. So she reached over to pick up the comb, and as she reached to pick it up, she muttered, "Bismillah." And the daughter of Faraón heard her. So the daughter of Faraón asked her, "In the name of God, you mean my father?" And the hairstylist replied to the daughter of Faraón, she said, "My Lord and the Lord of your father and the Lord of the skies and the earth." The daughter of Faraón asked her, "Can I tell my father what you have said?" "Go ahead, tell your father whatever you wish, whatever you please, tell your father." So the news went to Faraón that a certain someone, an insignificant slave, was challenging another god on top of him. So he summoned this hairstylist in front of him and his advisors. And he held this trial. And he asked her one simple question: "Who is your Lord, O hairstylist?" She looked at Faraón and she replied, "My Lord and your Lord is Allah." Ya Allah. Look at this test that she was put into. And she replied with no hesitancy, "My Lord and your Lord is Allah." So Faraón, he smiled and he realized what he's dealing with. So he sent her home. "You will be summoned tomorrow, you and your family." So she went home that day, and Faraón had prepared a big cauldron. And in this cauldron was put water, and that water was boiled to the point that Ibn Kathir, again, he explained that the water was shooting out and touching the ground. And then he summoned the hairstylist and her family. And he asked her, "Man rabbuki ya mashta?" And she replied immediately, "Rabbi wa rabbuka Allah." So he took her oldest child and threw him in the pot, and his body melted in that boiling hot water. And then he turned to the mashta and he asked her again, "Who is your Lord, O hairstylist?" And after seeing her first child being melted, she felt the pain, just imagine, but she desired Allah. So she replied, "Rabbi wa rabbuka Allah." And Faraón, he took her second child and he threw him in the cauldron, in the pot. Then he asked one more time, "Man rabbuki ya mashta?" And this time she was hesitating. She had one last child, a baby infant. But even as she hesitated, she realized the gravity of her test. She said, "Rabbi wa rabbuka Allah." So Faraón, he took her last baby infant, her last child, and put him at the rim of that pot. And he said, "Man rabbuki ya mashita?" Who is your Lord, O hairstylist? And she was hesitating until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He revealed a miracle. He made the baby speak. And the baby spoke to his mother and told her, "Come forth, my mother, and do not worry, do not despair, don't lose hope, because we are in Jannah." So she replied, "Rabbi wa rabbuka Allah." And Faraón took the child and her mother and threw them in the pot, and they melted away.